Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to another one of my videos here. So on this video, guys, just a quick, I'm sharing with you my DVD collection, part of my DVD collection. And you can see that I do have, let me see, where's my point? Okay, got it. I do have DVD TV shows sets and I have DVD movies. I am more of a classic TV show guy more than a movie person, but I do have a few movies, but what I really like to collect is classic TV shows. Here we have one of them. News Radio. This was with Phil Hartman. This was back in the, I want to say mid to late 90s, like 95, 97. I'm not sure how many seasons it ran for, but one thing that I was surprised was that you see this guy here? This is Joe Rogan. Now he's a famous, super famous podcaster. He has his own show. He got a deal with Spotify. Everybody knows who Joe Rogan is nowadays. But back then he was one of the one of the not he wasn't a star of News Radio, but he started News Radio. And then he had, I guess, Fear Factor. But back in this time, I mean, Joe Rogan was not as famous as he is today. So that just goes to show you guys that Hollywood is weird. You can start off being an unknown and then make it really, really big, like years later, which he has. That's Joe Rogan. And this is Phil Hartman. Phil Hartman, unfortunately, he passed away. I believe it was 1997. His wife uh, shot him and killed him, and it's really, really sad what happened. That story is actually it's on YouTube. You guys can just Google Phil Hartman tragedy 1997, and there's a documentary on it. Yeah, his wife had some mental issues. I don't know. She was a little, I don't know. They say she was jealous of him, something. So yeah, so she pretty much killed him, and it's really, really sad what happened to him. He was a really funny guy. He was on SNL, and but yeah, he lost his life to that incident. And then Andy Dick here is another one. He ended up, I think, on Celebrity Rehab, and he was into drugs for a while. I don't know how he's doing today, but he hasn't passed away or anything. He's still alive. So this is News Radio. So it's interesting to go back and watch these shows, guys, and just see the actors back in those days, how they were, how they looked, and so yeah, I just like watching the old classic TV stuff. So here is another one, a classic TV show. This was back in the 80s with very young Johnny Depp, 21 Jump Street. And I'm not sure who, I mean, I remember these actors from other TV shows or other movies and stuff, but obviously the main star of this show, the main person, the guy that made it big is Johnny Depp, right? The guy right here in the middle. Um, and so this was 21 Jump Street. It's a 80s show, guys, all the way. I mean, it was filmed in the 80s, but if you want to live nostalgia for the 80s and you want to just watch like things from back in the day, even the filming filmed on different locations, and I would say it's Los Angeles where it was filmed. Yeah, check out the show. It's very nostalgic to back in the 80s and the way things were back in the 80s. And here is the back. And so this is 21 Jump Street. It was like, I guess there were cops. They were like young cops, and they would go undercover and stuff, even to like high schools. So this is the complete second season here. All right. And then another classic TV show that is really cool. I think it was kind of like really low budget. Now that I look at it, I was checking it out the other day, and it was like really low budget. It seemed like the effects on the show were kind of like I mean, this show was filmed in the 80s, but it was kind of like the original Star Trek series. The effects that they did for the show were not very, they weren't very good. But it's definitely, V was one of those short-lived TV shows from back in the day, back in the 80s. I believe it was like in the early 80s that it came out. And the guy from Beastman, I don't know if you guys ever watched that movie, Beastman. He was the one that starred in it. He was one of the persons that starred in the show. And he was one of the main characters, the guy from Beastman, if you guys haven't seen that movie. So he's right here. It's this guy. I forget his real name, but yeah, this is V. I think it's the complete series. So it didn't run very long. As you can see here, it's just a like 4 disc. It's actually 3 disc. So yeah, there's V. And then going towards the movie side, like I said, I'm not a huge movie guy, but I do have some movies. This is Robert Downey Jr. and Jamie Foxx, The Soloist. It's actually based on a true story of a guy, I guess, who would hang out outside of the Disney concert hall. And he was really good on that instrument. And the cello, I guess it's called. But yeah, this is just one of the movies I have. But again, I'm not a major movie guy. I'm more of a TV show guy, classic TV show guy. So, and then we have another movie here, T2, Terminator 2. This is a really cool movie. Of course, classic Arnold Schwarzenegger. Really cool effects. I think this is actually better. This is, out of all the Terminators, I think this is actually the best Terminator movie. Out of Terminator 1 was okay, but then after Terminator 2, like Terminator 3 and then 4, and I don't even know how many they made after that. I'm a huge fan of the second Terminator 2, of Part 2. I think it was one of the best films out of that whole series, out of that whole the Terminator movies. So there's Arnold Schwarzenegger. And then here's James Bond, guys. I believe this is from the 90s, GoldenEye. And he's 007, James Bond. And I'm actually more into like this. If I'm going to watch a movie, I like to watch like the old ones, like the 60s, 70s movies. So this is a 90s one. I do have it in my collection. But like I said, I prefer the James Bond from like the Sean Connery James Bond back from like the 60s and stuff. Those I think those were really cool. And I do have some of those in my collection. But I just happened to pull this one for this video. And then last one is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. So this is the Steven Spielberg film. Steven Spielberg, obviously a well-known director from back in the day. He brought us movies like Back to the Future, E.T., just so many, Schindler's List. So Close Encounters of the Third Kind is definitely a classic, one of the classic movies. I know that Steven Spielberg was also involved with Poltergeist. And I do want to check out, if I find the complete set of like Poltergeist, especially like part 1 and part 2, I definitely want to check. I definitely want to have that in my collection. So there are movies that I am searching for and trying to add to my collection. Poltergeist 1 and 2 being one of them. If I find those, I will pick them up either on VHS or on DVD. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video, guys, on my DVD collection or part of my DVD collection. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a good one. Signing off.